Hits by the pound.
Yeah, this is how we do it in the Central Colors, man. We got 40 ounces, Old English, rag tops, 6'4" Impalas, and bikini girls, man. This is how we do it on the West Coast. San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles. But don't forget about the Central Cali, man. Please don't forget about the Central Cali. Yeah, get 'em.
It's another sunny day in the state of California. Low rider palm trees and G's that put it on ya. This ain't a negative, we speaking ebonics. Rank talk, candy paint on D's with hydraulics. Baseball hat with the sticker on the brim. Don't let the shine blind your sight, cause things can get grim. But I'm not here to talk about banana clips and guns. We're going back to Cali and we're gonna have some fun. A West Coast domination.
And welcome back to Two-Face Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Fred Segura, out here in Monterey County, also known to the world as the Salad Bowl, also known as the Salinas Valley. To the people in LA, we are north. To the people in San Francisco, we are south. Right smack in the middle, best of both worlds. Don't forget about the Central Cali. Anyway, folks, today we are going to talk about gold diggers. My apologies in advance, ladies. This is not meant to offend anybody, except for those that, perhaps have the shoe fit, if you will. The shoe, okay, not the glass slipper, ladies. Sorry, we are going to go there. With that, guys, I want to say that in today's world, there's a lot of gold diggers that come in all shapes and sizes, right? First of all, let me start off with this. Oftentimes we see as a trophy wife. Everybody wants to have the trophy wife. What we see on social media, throughout the news, or whatever we look at nowadays. I don't want to say television because I dare say that maybe not a lot of people look at television anymore, but anyway, for the sake of let's just say social media, right? People have these trophy wives and they look a certain way. But the reality of a trophy wife, they come in all shapes and sizes. A trophy wife, to me, is somebody that's gonna stick with you through thick and thin, believe in you, be your rock, be your backbone, support you, cook your meals and stuff. Not to say, don't get it wrong, guys. I'm not saying that, she belongs in the kitchen. No, I'm not saying that. But somebody that's going to take care of you as well as you take care of them. Somebody that's going to stick by your side even when things get tough, right? That's all I'm saying. To me, that's a trophy wife. But we have this image of a trophy wife that she looks a certain way, and to me, that's not reality. Excuse me, guys. So on with gold diggers, right? Again, they come in all shapes and sizes. Oftentimes, guys, we see women that perhaps get involved in a relationship for security purposes. Excuse me. Men as well, right? You say, hey, man, take one for the team because older woman or whatever has money. So we stick to that with taking one for the team. So therefore, that makes us gold diggers as well, males and females, right? I'm not sure if there's a word for that for the male, but anyhow, so with that, that comes into play where we're in a relationship simply because it's beneficial to us, right? A lot of times it's a security blanket where it just you want to have that image, you want to have that security blanket, of course, right? And the bottom line to it, guys, is nobody wants to struggle anymore. Nobody wants to work towards anything anymore, right? We use that excuse of, well, I've gotten too old to be trying to do this and that. Well, you know what? No. Get off your tail, man. Get off your tail and make something happen. You know why? You're in a relationship simply because it's beneficial to you. You're going to play, in a sense, you're playing house with somebody you really don't love. You've just gotten accustomed to, right? And because you want to have the security, financial security blanket over you, where you don't struggle, you can buy a house, you can do all this other stuff. But the reality is the core matter of the situation of that relationship ceases to exist. Therefore, what do you have? So if we come to a time, excuse me, if we come to a time where it seems like we're headed, where money becomes obsolete, right? So materialistic things are become obsolete. Like, hey, whatever it does, it's not worth nothing. Ask yourself one question: what do you have? Right? What do we have? Really, at the end of the day, what do we have without those things? Without money and materialistic things. Materialistic things, what do we have? Right? I'll tell you what we have: ourselves. Who we are as people. Right? How we carry ourselves, how we conduct ourselves, how much we believe in ourselves. I'm pretty sure those of us that have I'll say it like this, let's just, not a relationship, but rather say you have unconditional love for your loved ones. That's going to continue, right? And no matter what happens, money becomes obsolete, materialistic things ain't worth nothing. You're going to love your loved ones, right? But what about the people that you're pretending to love? Right? I mean, excuse me again, guys. So the people you're pretending to love, is it really fair to them that at the end of the day you're there for security purposes, to just to feel important or to feel good about something, right? I mean, it goes back to one thing. I mean, yeah, we could look down on people sometimes and be like, man, this person's doing this and that, but you know what? The positive, excuse me, the positive side of that is they're hanging on to what they believe is love, for that matter, for whatever love means to them, right? But again, that ceases to exist in today's world. A lot of it ceases to exist. Excuse me. Everybody seems to, again, want the financial end of it, wants the fruits of their labor. You know what I mean? What's the benefit of the fruits of the labor off of somebody else? And pretend like you love that person. When in reality, you don't. In the hands, and I'll go there, guys, and I know I get a lot of backlash for it from a lot of different people. But I'll say this. One of the movies that I thought was terribly, and in the defense of this, I'll put it to you this way. People say, well, you didn't read the book, Fred. You need to read the book. Okay, granted. But I'll make my point. Okay, maybe so, right? Which I haven't, so I'll give it that. But the film was poorly executed. This is the trilogy, 50 Shades of Grey. I think it's terrible of how a woman is portrayed in that film. Because if you think about it, and if I remember correctly, and yeah, guys, I'm guilty. I did watch it because my wife seen it, and it's like, okay, well, no, you need to see this, and I'm like, This is not doing the trick. If that's what you know, I mean, I'm just saying, it didn't. On the contrary, it made me feel bad. Like, if I remember correctly, there's a scene where a Joe Schmo guy really likes the character of the female. She doesn't want no part of him. She doesn't want to give him the time of day. I think he's a mechanic or something. I don't know. She doesn't give him the time of day, but she gives this Mr. Gray, everything. Why? Because he owned a business, because he had all this other stuff. And I think the films got worse and worse and worse as they went on to the third one. I got in trouble. We saw the third one, the only one I saw in the theater was the third one, and I sat there and I laughed my tail off because I thought it was just that stupid. Yeah, and I got in trouble for that, but I thought it was hilarious because it's just cheesy. So I'll go there. See, guys, so let me put it to you like this. So I look at it this way because people want to argue about that. Oh, well, you're just being a hater and whatever you want to call me. This is my thing about that film. Take out the Mr. Gray character, the guy, I forget his name. Take him out. Take him out of that film, right? And replace him. Keep the story the same. But just replace Mr. Gray with the actor. Replace him and put John Goodman in there. And keep the story the same. I'll wait and see. And you tell me if the story still is as romantic or whatever you want to call it. People say, oh, that's creepy. Like, don't. It's the same thing, guys. Sorry, ladies, it's the same thing. Replace it with John Goodman. Somebody that's not that attractive, I guess, to a lot of females. To some, he may be, right? Overweight and stuff like that, right? Hey, replace him. Put him in there. And tell me if the story still holds the same weight you believe it does. It should. It should, because if you're looking at it as a story, right? It should still hold the same thing. But it won't, because you're looking at an image. So therefore, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos as well where these women come out and they ignore the guy. I don't know if they're acted or not. It seems like they're not. They'll ignore the guy. The guy says, oh, well, hey, can I talk to you? Oh, I don't have the time of day. They see him jump into a Lamborghini or some kind of high-end car. And right away, the female turns around and goes back like, hey, what's up? Like, hey, well, I thought you were in a hurry. She jumps in the car and then she's asking, take me shopping, take me to go get this, take me to go get that, And ladies, again, I apologize. It's not towards those, every woman. But I'm sure there's men that kind of hustle their way in to a rich woman's life. But how bad is that? How cheap do you look? That you're trying to sell yourself. You're basically, I'll say it respectfully, a woman of the night. You're selling yourself for something materialistic and financial security. And God forbid, guys, and I'm not trying to sit here and spit in the wind. I do have daughters, but I'm trying to teach them different than what a lot of this generation and this social media sometimes is teaching and pitching towards on kids and so on and so forth. I think it's a terrible thing to display for kids, and I think it's a terrible thing rather than see. And I hate to sound like an old geezer, right? But compared now to the gold diggers, which they've always existed, right? But compare that to the 90s where the women were supposed to be strong and independent and stand on their own before not depend on the man for that matter, but rather match the man. You know what I mean? Be his backbone. And a lot of that does not exist anymore. You know, excuse me, which leads me into the whole women empowerment, like, and I'm going to go off a little bit on this, like, off topic a little bit. We're so stuck now on this whole women empowerment and stuff like that. That's not what this is about. I'm a firm believer. I don't believe in that either. I mean, I'm sorry, ladies. I don't believe I need to change certain male characters to make them a female and identity and all this other stuff to make it, excuse me, to make it that much better. I see it as like, hey man, didn't anybody see Terminator? You know, Sarah Connor was a, you know, badass woman. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. Aliens, the character of Ripley, she, you know, beat aliens and stuff, like, and the second one, Rodriguez, and all these other, right? There's always been, excuse me, oh, darn, there's always been women, powerful women, right? We never saw them as different, or, oh, you know, cut it out, there's just no way. No, we didn't. We embraced them. But today, they're trying to shove it down our throats. But that's a whole other situation, though, what I'm originally talking about, right? I just think that a lot of women out there who are seeking financial stability should really stop and get it together. You know, especially like when I see the 90 Day Fiance stuff that I would watch before. I don't watch it too much anymore. There was a certain, I guess a guest or whatever it is, right, that's on there. I'm not going to get into names and stuff. She came from another country. She had children in another country. She came. She's basically looking, she's looking for a relationship. She's basically looking for a financial stability. She got herself all done and everything like that, right? And that's great. Okay, cool. If that's what you want to go for, beautiful woman. If that's what you like, I don't think so. I think she looked better before. That's just my thing. But anyhow, I often wonder because I see her, you know, throughout social media or whatever, and I think to myself, where are your kids at? Did you ever go back for your kid rather than get all this money to, you know, fix yourself up, if you will? You know, fix what really didn't need any fixing. But hey, to be more well endowed and all this stuff. Where are your kids at? You know, why don't you show me that part? Show me where your kids are at. How you brought your kids away from that country, from that third world country where they're at. You know, show me that. I'd be more impressed with that. But hey, it is what it is, guys. Just, ladies, respectfully, step it up, right? Men as well. Come on, get off your tail, man. Get your driver's license, bro. Don't be sitting shotgun and letting the woman drive you around. Get it together, man. With that, guys, this is Two Face Entertainment Podcast. I'm your host, Fred Segura, signing out.